Nation, welcome to the Duza Bear Digest for Tuesday, July 6, 2021. There's been some chatter on the internet about mask mandates violating Canada's Charter of Rights and Freedoms. And to those who think that, well, settle up for a crash course in Canadian constitutional law. As a Canadian, your rights are not absolute. No Canadians are. And I'm not talking about the notwithstanding clause. Section 1, the first section, the one before all others, clearly states the rights and freedoms in the Charter are not absolute, and governments can limit them by reasonable amounts prescribed by law as can be demonstrably justified in a free and democratic society. Freedom of expression, for example, because they prevent harm to individuals and groups, can be constitutionally limited by laws forbidding hate propaganda or child pornography. Any individual's rights can be limited to prevent harm. It's part of the whole peace, order, and good government thing. Like preventing hundreds of thousands of citizens from getting sick or dying by limiting the avoidable spread of a deadly virus through mask mandates. And the government has an obligation to limit freedoms during a pandemic because of Section 7 of the Charter that guarantees everyone has the right not to be deprived to life and security of the person. So while government may not compel individuals to perform or abstain from otherwise harmless acts on the basis of charter rights, ignoring social distancing, mask use, and universally applied non-discriminatory restrictions on gatherings during a pandemic after a public health order is issued is not a problem under the Charter. The Charter protects basic rights and freedoms for all Canadians, life and security of the person being primary among them. And the funny thing is, people who claim masks violate their rights seem to be completely unaware of their obligations under the Charter. Every citizen has responsibilities, the first one of which is to obey the law. Not the laws you agree with, the law. So if a legal jurisdiction under the Crown passes a mask requirement, then whether you like it or not, under the Charter, you have an obligation as a citizen to abide by it. And responsibility number 3 requires citizens to help others in the community. So if wearing a mask keeps just one other person from getting COVID, then failing to do so, or refusing to do so in any way that puts others at risk, breaks 2 of the 4 responsibilities of your Canadian citizenship. So are there limits to the Charter? Yeah. Whatever punishment is given must be reasonable to the violation. Like, say, revoking citizenship for people who fail to abide by the obligations of being a Canadian citizen? So ends the lesson. On this day in 1885, Louis Pasteur successfully tested his vaccine against rabies on Joseph Meister, a boy who was bitten by a rabid dog. Here's a list of diseases that vaccines have helped prevent. Polio, tetanus, influenza, hepatitis A and B, rubella, Hib, measles, pertussis, rotavirus, mumps, chickenpox, diphtheria, bing, COVID. It's also Fried Chicken Day. Vaccine pending. And that's today's Duza Bear Digest. See you tomorrow!